Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Last final of the day. Women's 3-meter springboard final about to start. Just 10 more minutes to go or so. We just finished the previous event, the final of the men's 10 meters platform. That was a very exciting event. Hopefully this next one will be as interesting. The Serbian Institute of Sports diving pool in front of you on screen. Very nice outdoor pool. We will have soon, as I said, the women 3-meter springboard final, the top 12 divers from this morning prelims. If you want to check the results from the previous round, you should download the EuroAqua app, the app of the European Aquatics, where you can find all the results, the news, the live results also, interviews, images, and anything, any content you want about European Aquatics. You can find it on Google Play and the App Store. Easily downloadable and for free. Once you're in there, just make sure you register and check everything you like and bookmark your favorite stuff. 12 divers in this next event. 5 dives per diver, 1 from each group of dives. We have 4 divers who have been in this exact event, the same event, last year in Rzeszów, Poland. And just one of them was on the podium, Emilia Nilsson-Garip, second last year, with a total score of 316.60 points. This morning, to make it to the final, she scored 261.10, so she'll need to improve her performance from the morning. She wants to repeat the score of last year, obviously. She's doing exactly the same dives as she did last year in the final. So, just in a different order, I'm just noticing that right now. She changed the order of her list. Probably that could be because she tried throughout the season and found this list is just more comfortable for her. We saw the start list on screen just a few seconds ago, and we'll in a couple of minutes we'll have the ladies being introduced in and presented on deck by the announcer. Other than Emilia Nilsson-Garip, we also had the Jarne Bent Ajmail last year in the final in 6th place, Elle Tuxen in 7th, and Elna Widerström in 12th place last year in this final. All the others haven't been here in this final ever, actually. All the others are at their first European Championship 3 meters final. Interesting. We're almost ready for the finalists to be presented. And here we are, the first one to dive this afternoon on the 3-meter springboard. Here we have her on screen, Elna Widerström, European champion 3 days ago on 1 meter. Next up from Italy, Matilde Borello.
Representing Norway.
Third up from Norway, Elle Tuxen.
Representing Germany.
From Germany now, Jana Lisa Rother from Berlin, Germany. The second Norwegian diver in this final, Caroline Kupka in 5th.
Representing Great Britain.
First British diver in this final is Amy Rollinson.
Representing Ireland.
From Ireland, in 7th, Claire Cryan.
Representing Finland.
From Finland,
Lauren
Lauren Alazelka, 8th spot in the start list.
Representing Italy.
From Italy, 9th is Elettra Neroni.
Representing Great
And from Great Britain, the second British diver is Dajarna Bent Ajmail.
Sean Bent Ashmail. Representing Sweden.
From Sweden, silver medalist from last year, Emilia Nilsson Garrett.
And representing
From France, last one in the dive list,
Nice Gillet.
Naïs Gillet. From Paris, former gymnast who won the preliminary round. Gotta apologize to Claire Cryan. I did not count her as a finalist from last year, but she indeed was in the final also last year in Poland. She got 10th place there. On screen you can see the judges for this final. And again, last year in the final to win, Chiara Pellacani scored from Italy scored 321.45 points. Emilia 316.60 got silver, and Michelle Einberg from Switzerland, who is not here this year, 306.70 points, got bronze. Just a couple of seconds before the event starts, gotta give few minutes to the divers to get ready and get on the boards. In the meantime, the technical diving committee members are presented. Anna Sorokin and Arne Tellefsen, also Klaus Di Biasi, the LEN TDC secretary, and then the 7 judges already on their chair, ready to start this event.
Your assistant referee, Jan Zikin. And your judges, Anna Bieliuk, Natasha Kodic, Carla Hernando, Schultz Jacek, Anne-Marie Balkova, Anatoly Golovan, Lauren Alazile.
Not much left now before we start this event. Just waiting for the right time. The referee is waiting the exact time to start. It's getting a little bit darker now. The sun is not setting, but it's definitely behind the platform. So what is happening now on the boards is that the takeoff will be quite in the sun, while the entry is a bit more in the shade. That could bother divers. They might, at least some of them, some others might not care about that. But that's definitely, with outdoor diving, that's definitely one issue. Now we're ready. Here we have Elna Widerstrom. Inward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.7 degree of difficulty for her. Nicely done. Probably not the strongest jump she could do. Took her quite a while to finish that push, and she was a bit slow in that part of the dive, but then lines up correctly. 7, 6.5 for her from the judges. And 55-35 points for her to start the competition. From Italy now on the board is ready Matilde Borello. An inward 2.5 somersault pike, same dive as the Swedish diver before her, but in a pike position. She did quite well on this dive this morning, very well executed. And not as fast as she did this morning in the air, pushes her hips backward before the board would let her go up in the air. Doesn't even grab her hands in the water. You see it here from this slow motion. When it's time to grab her the hands on the water, she just leaves them close to each other but not flat on the water, so not a clean entry. 49.50 for her, 5.5s.
Representing Norway, Helle Tuxen, inward 2.5 somersaults, pike.
Next up, from Norway, Helle Tuxen. Same dive for the Norwegian diver. Helle has been in this final last year. Oh, not a great entry. She did a good job up in the air. Just doesn't line it up fast enough and lets the dive over rotate. I was saying how this is her third final on 3 meter back to back to back. She's been in the final in Rome 2022, last year in Czechov, and now here once again. 5s for her, too bad. She was quite slow getting straight. Now Jana Lisa Rother from Germany, also for her an inward 2.5 somersault pike. And we have most of the divers doing this dive in this first round, just like this morning. We saw that already happening. Just Claire Cryan, Elettra Neroni, and Emilia Nilsson Garip are the only ones not doing an inward. So 3 divers out of 12. All the other divers are doing this dive, either tuck or pike. And Jana does a good job holding to that pike position long enough. The takeoff wasn't very high, and pushes her hips back way too early before the board comes back up. The dive is quite low. Gets vertical, but definitely not straight. Not an amazing execution of this dive. 46.50 for her. She's in third place. From Norway now, Caroline Kupka, inward 2.5 somersault tuck. So the difference between the inward 2.5 somersault tuck and the pike one in the degree of difficulty is 0.3. It's 2.7 tuck and 3.0 pike. That means that if you perform it in a tuck position, you get scores of at least 1 point more by each judge to score more than the divers there doing it pike. That is not the case with Caroline Kupka, who lets the dive go way too far past the vertical line, the ideal vertical line that she was looking for. 4s for her, 32.40. And now from Great Britain, Amy Rawlinson. Another inward 2.5 somersault pike for the European champion in synchro. The 2 British divers who are diving in this final, they won the synchro 3 meter, the women's synchro 3 meter yesterday, the final. It was a fun event to watch too. And quite slow in the air. She, as the German diver, also Amy has to hold on to the pike position as long as possible and barely gets vertical. Definitely not straight when entering the water. The ladies are not getting great jumps. The ones that did ended up going way too far over, not understanding very well the right timing of the come out. Here is one diver not doing the inward 2.5 somersault, the first diver in this round not doing that dive, and is Claire Cryan from Ireland, forward 2.5 somersault pike. 2.4 degree of difficulty, much lower degree of difficulty than the others, so she's definitely aiming for high scores from the judges here. Nicely done, very high. She can do this dive on 1 meter, so she has a lot of time in the air, and that gives her plenty of time to line up, check with their eyes where the spot in the water to get in is, and place her hands flat there to get a clean entry. And Damien Bell shows her with his hand gesture how she lightly went over. But at this point, Claire is sitting at 48 points even in 4th place. Now, Elena Laselka, Finnish diver from Helsinki, leaving diving, studying at UCLA in Los Angeles. Inward 2.5 somersault pike for her. And once again, another diver that doesn't get a great, strong push off the board. Just not fast enough, not enough room to get vertical. And she did a great job this morning coming back from a huge mistake in the second round, but she did start much better with the inward, showing her coach what she felt and how she moved. Well, and Lauren is at 49.50 with Matilde Borrello in 3rd place. Now the other Italian diver, Elettra Neroni, back 2.5 somersault pike for her. Second final here in Belgrade for Elettra. She was in the final 1 meter. And a nice back 2.5 somersault pike, quite vertical, also fairly clean, and not the cleanest dive we've seen today, but definitely, considering it's a backward somersaulting dive, quite good. Should have stayed closer to the board. She's a bit too far in the middle of the pool, but 6.5 from the judges. 55.50, and Elettra is right now ahead of everyone in the rankings. From Great Britain, 2 times European champion this week in Belgrade, Dajarne Bent Ajmail, inward 2.5 somersault pike. She won both springboard synchro events, the mixed one with Ben Cutmore and the women synchro event yesterday with Amy Rollinson. So definitely aiming for another medal here. Good top. Oh, very good job. Very strong off the board. She's getting a very strong jump. Her hips go all the way up as high as possible with that jump, and good job in the pike position. Probably just slightly over-rotated at the end, but a very good job, and she is with Elettra Neroni in 1st place at the moment. Yeah, 55.50. Emilia Nilsson-Garrep now back 2.5 somersault pike for the diver from Malmo, Sweden. 2nd last year, silver medal for her last year. She already has a few medals at home from European Championship. She got 1 medal in Rome 2022, 3 medals last year, and 2 medals here already. Nice back 2.5 somersault pike by Emilia Nilsson-Garrep. Perfect pike position. Very well executed technically and very sharp in the air. The entry is not the cleanest possible, but she's up there for sure in the rankings with the best divers so far, or at least very close. 54 points. Good job. Yeah, just 1 point, 50 points behind Elettra Neroni and Dajarne Bent Ajmail, who are leading so far. Our winner of the preliminary round, Naïs Gillet, inward 2.5 somersault tuck for the French diver. Naïs with her sister have been, who is also here. We've seen her yesterday diving on platform. 2 days ago diving on platform. They've been for 15 years gymnasts and then switched to diving. Ooh, huge mistake for the winner of the preliminary round. It was a great top, very fast in the tuck position, and wow, she could have made this dive on 1 meter probably. Look how high she was. Kicks way too late and lets the dive go over. With this takeoff, she might have made this dive on 1, and definitely good top. 4.5s though, and Naïs is in 11th place at 33.75. We have the standings after the first round of dive. Elettra Noroin and Desjardins, Bent Ajmail are leading the group. Everyone is still very close to each other though. Wait, because the competition is quite long. 4 more rounds to go. And the second one of these the first one of these 4 rounds left. The second one, second round overall is about to start with Elna Widersturm. Back 2.5 somersault pike for the Swedish diver. She's another diver that lives and studies in the United States, in Minnesota. She just finished her first year there. Won the 1 meter event a few days ago here in Belgrade. Nice dive, much better than what she did this morning. She struggled on this one earlier today, but a very good strong jump off the springboard today, and a nice entry slightly over 5.5, 6, 51 points, and she's at 106.35 at the moment. Elna did manage to come back into the top 12 ranked divers this morning after completely missing the back 2.5 somersault and the reverse 2.5 somersault pike this morning. She managed to make it to the final with just by being just 1 point ahead of Sude Koprulu from Turkey this morning. Let's go back live with Matilde Borrello, forward 3.5 somersault pike for the Italian diver from Turin. Nice dive by the Italian, very strong off the board, but definitely not vertical in the entry. Should have done a better job getting in the water, getting completely straight. Might have lost, definitely lost a few points there. The hurdle was good, the press perfect, and then when in the pike, coming out of the pike position again, once again, just like the round before, doesn't grab her hands and stays pike. It's kind of like she seems like insecure, not finishing that dive to get 7s, 6.5s, and 7s. So stays pike in the entry and just 5.5s for her. Matilde Borrello is now at 106.65 points. Elle Tuxen now forward 3.5 somersault tuck for the Norwegian diver. Nice dive, very high, and probably just too slow while somersaulting. She was way higher than many other divers here today, but even though she had plenty of room to line it up, doesn't do the correct movements in the come out here and grabs her hands way too early, leaving the dive short. So 6s from the judges, and Elle is now at 95.40 in 3rd place. Jana Rother from Berlin, Germany, a forward 2.5 somersault pike, 3.0 degree of difficulty for her. 9th place after the first round. Not an impressive inward 2.5 somersault pike earlier for her. Could do much better. Let's see if she does that here. And again, seems like she struggled with the timing on the board. She didn't seem leaning too far forward or far behind. She was perfect at the tip of the board, but instead of slowly squatting and pressing the board down, it seems like she wanted to kick it very hard. Doesn't get a good timing off the board, and the dive ends up being quite short. 94.50 for her in fourth place right now. Caroline Kupka, last in the rankings after the first round. Huge mistake on the inward 2.5 somersault tuck. Very similar to the one that Nice Gillet did. They both got great takeoffs but ended up flying over. Back 2.5 somersault tuck for her now. And a much better job with it. Compared to the dive before, she doesn't get as high, pulling with her shoulders back on the takeoff. But in this case, she managed to get a clean M3 and vertical. Not scoring extremely high because this dive needed more room to finish. Sixes though from the judges, 50.40. She's at 80-80 now. Amy Rawlinson, a forward 3.5 somersault pike for her. This morning, Amy on this dive scored 41.80, and she's not getting those points here today. Completely missed come out. The hurdle wasn't bad. When it's time to come out, just reaches forward with the hands. Probably the hurdle was leaning a little bit far back on the board. And here, look at that. Almost completely flat on the water. Big disappointment for her. 2.5s. Just 24.80. And most likely, unless something crazy happens in the rest of the competition by the other divers, she might have no more chances of getting a medal here today. Claire Cryan now, the Irish diver, is doing a back 2.5 somersault tuck. Claire is doing a not so hard list, but considering the mistakes we have been seeing by the ladies doing in this week here in Belgrade, an easier list, well executed, could give you still a medal. They seem kind of like Aleksandra Blazowska from Poland did on the 1 meter. Easier list, but around 7s at every dive and steady around that scores gave her a medal. See, 7s from the judges for Claire. Very good, well executed back 2.5 somersault tuck. Damien Bell, her coach, very happy with that. And she's at 106.80, leading everyone else right now. Now on the board, Lorena Olselka. Huge mistake, just 2s and 2.5s from the judges on this dive in the morning for the Finnish diver. Wants to do much, much better on it here today. And once again, not as bad as this morning, but once again, the same mistake that she did this morning. Good top, probably just leaning a little bit too far back with her shoulders on the takeoff, and the dive over rotates because of that. The shoulders go down early before the finish of the jump, and she carries that momentum on the come out. That's why the dive goes over. 4.5s, 90 points for her. Not terrible as she did this morning, but quite a mistake though. Now, same dive for Italian diver Elettra Neroni, who was in first, tying with the British diver Desjardins after the first round. Let's see how she does here today. Ooh, and this is a failed dive, completely missed hurdle. The same thing happened to her on 1 meter on the reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. And once again, her toes completely over the end. She slips off the springboard, and look here, and goes way too far away, touching feet first. That's a failed dive, so scoring 0s for the Italian diver. Well, now the other leader of the first round is on the board. Desjardins is doing a back 2.5 somersault pike. Good for her. She's doing a standing dive, because sometimes it happens that divers see the diver before them on the board failing a dive because of the bad hurdle, and they start messes with their head. And so it's good for Desjardins that she's not doing any hurdle in this round. Desjardins needs 49 points to be ahead of Claire Cryan, who is leading at the moment. And a great dive by Desjardins, very well lined up. Probably seemed that from live speed, seems like she split her feet coming out of the pike position. Yes, and she did. You saw it from the slow motion. You can, that's something the judges noticed, so deduct a few points there. Other than that, it was a perfect dive. 7.5, 123, and she has quite an advantage now. 17 points ahead of Claire Cryan, who is in second. So great job by the Desjardins. Let's see if Emilia Nilsson-Garib can keep up with that. Forward 3.5 somersault pike, 3.1 degree of difficulty. Good hurdle. Nice dive. What an amazing entry by Emilia Nilsson-Garib. Definitely keeping up with Desjardins. For sure, she's going to be up there with the British. Nice entry. Look, her arms go all the way up. Perfect pike position with straight legs. And a nice straight entry in the water. A smiling face for Emilia. Amazing job. 7.5 and 8. And she's ahead of everyone else. Wow, 126.85. 3 points, almost 4 points ahead of Desjardins. Good job, Emilia, with this dive. Let's see if Naïs Gillet, after a huge mistake on the first dive, let's see if she can get back on track now. Back to 2.5 somersault tuck for the French diver. Very important here is to spot where you are in the air, understand the kick, timing of the kick. She does a good job with that. Not as good as the one she did this morning in prelims. Also a reminder that this dive is has a lower degree of difficulty. She picks up her knees way before the takeoff was finished and slightly goes over. Yeah, again, not as good as the one she did this morning where she got 7.5, but 54.60 puts her 2 spots in the ranking ahead of where she was before. And now we have the standings. Emilia and Desjardins way ahead of the rest of the group at 126 and 123 points. Claire, Elna, Matilde, Elle, Jana, Lauren, Naïs, Caroline, Amy, and Elettra behind the 2 leaders. Well, still 3 rounds to go. We had some great dives being performed here so far, but we also saw a failed dive by the Italian diver, unfortunately for her. So some misses here and there, and some great diving here and there. So 3 more rounds to go. Elna Widerström reversed 2.5 somersault pike for her. She was in 4th place, just a half a point behind Claire Cryan. That's where the battle for bronze is, as of right now at least. Struggled there, and a huge mistake on the hurdle for Elna makes her completely miss. Not completely miss, but it's not a failed dive, but it's a big miss for her. Completely short, way too short, probably 2s. Yes, 2s from the judges. She doesn't get, because of the hurdle being completely off rhythm with the board, she doesn't get a chance to push off the board. She gets on the board, instead of pressing it down, the board is coming back on her feet, so struggle to take off, and not enough momentum in the air to get vertical. And well, Elna Widerström, as of right now, is, even though she has a dive more than her teammate Emilia, she's already behind her by 2 points. So huge mistake for the Swedish diver. Reverse 2.5 somersault pike also for Matilde Borello. And a much better job than what she did this morning on this dive. Struggled a little bit with the hurdle. You see how she was in the corner. Does not get the best push out of it, but definitely manages to hold on to that pike position long enough. Once again, Matilde does not grab her hands in the water and doesn't place them flat on the water surface, and not a clean entry because of that, but 5s, and she's at 147.15 right now in 1st place, waiting for the other divers to dive. Now Elle Tuxen on the board, ready for a forward 2.5 somersault pike with a full twist. Very strong hurdle. Very nice job. A strong hurdle, very high, up in the air when she jumped with from her drive step. Look at that, very high, balances with her arms, and then lines up very well. This is a great dive by the Norwegian diver, definitely scoring high, and seems very happy about that. Sevens from the judges, 6.5 and 7s. 60 points. She's at 155.40. Very well executed front twister by Elle Tuxen. Jana Rotor now. Jana is doing a reverse 2.5 somersault pike. Needs around 60 points to get ahead of Elle. As of right now, she seemed a little bit off, both in rhythm and all the movements in the air throughout the first 2 rounds. Let's see how she does here. And once again, it's not completely, it's not a huge mistake. It's not completely missed, but definitely not gonna get those 60 points she needed to get ahead of Elle. Again, another, I don't want to sound mean, but mediocre dive. Not excellent here. There's nothing too bad, but neither excellent, neither good. So 5, just there, right there in the middle. Nothing special, nothing too bad. So now the German diver is at 139.50. 16 points behind Elle Tuxen, who is leading so far. Now Elle's teammate, Caroline Kupka, also reverse 2.5 somersault, but in a tuck position. And very well executed technically in the air, on the board, perfect rhythm, very high. The coach seems pretty happy about that. And just the entry, she pulls a little bit too far back, arching her back. Here in the entry, a little bit too much, didn't need that, all that pull back. So the entry is not very clean. Little disagreement by the judges, 5.5 and all the way from 5.5 and 7 there, but she's at 136 points. Amy Rollinson, reverse 2.5 somersault pike. Quite a mistake on the previous round for her. Let's see if she can recover and gain a couple of spots at least in the rankings. Reverse 2.5 somersault pike, good top. Oh well, too bad. That was quite a good jump off the board. Very well executed in the air, quite fast in the spinning motions in the somersaulting part of the dive. Just holds on to the pike position. She should have came out quite a bit earlier. Ends up going too far past the vertical line. So Amy now sits in where is she? Oh yeah, 8th place. Sorry, 114.80 points. Yeah, seems pretty disappointed with that. Next up is Claire Cryan, already on the board, waiting for the referee.
I'll read the scores.
And they're repeating this. They're repeating the scores for Amy. For Amy Rollinson. Don't know why. What happened with the probably with the screen on deck that we show the scores. Now we are ready for Claire Cryan now. Reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. Claire was at 106.80 points. She needs 49 points to lead the group after her dive. That was a very good hurdle. Don't know what made her jump away from the board so early before the board came back up. And I guess that bothered her because she seems like she didn't understand very well where she was in the air. 4s from the judges at 3.5, just 32.20 points. Let's see if I can see what she says to the coach. No, the camera went away, but yeah. Doesn't seem like she understood very well where she was in the air, and that's the reason why that we were kicked out of the tuck position. Back to 2.5 somersault pike for Lauren Alaselka now. Lauren at her second final on 3 meter in this event. Does a good job lining up, but I saw her bending her knees after she came out in the pike dive Obviously, you're not supposed to do that. Sit here. Yeah, some judges noticed that, other didn't hear. She bends her knees a little bit before entering the water. A 4.5 from judge number 1 and 6.5 from the others. A little disagreement there. Someone saw it, someone didn't. But Lauren right now is 144 points even. 48 points average for her right now. Now Elettra Neroni, after the failed dive on the previous round, she has another hurdle. Let's see how she deals with that now. Perfectly now. Perfect hurdle and an amazing dive by the Italian. Well, too bad she didn't get this hurdle on the previous round. What a nice forward 2.5 somersault full twist. Especially the entry was very, very good. Completely clean in the entry. And, well, too bad for her. 58-50. Definitely not smiling here, Elettra, after that huge, huge mistake before. Dajarne, Bent Ajmail, she was in second place at 123 points. She needs just 32 points to get ahead of Elle, but definitely wants many more points than that if she wants to keep battling it out with Emilia Nilsson Garip for gold. Reverse 2.5 somersault pike for her. Nice dive by Dajarne overall. Not bad at all, slightly over. Could have done a better job in the timing of the come out. Very strong off the board, very high jump. See how she pulls with her shoulders back though. Now when she comes out, way too fast, swinging back and slightly over. So Dajarne gets 6.5 from the judges, 57 points, not bad at all though. 25 points ahead of Elle Tuxen at 180 even. 60 points even average for Dajarne after 3 rounds. Let's see now, back-to-back reverse 2.5 somersault pike for the 2 leaders of the competitions. See if Dajarne puts some pressure on Emilia with her reverse. And very similar, probably Dajarne did a better job on the lineup. Emilia also gets an extremely good top, very fast, and I really like her pike position, but comes out slightly late, and she indeed scores less than the British diver. 48 points only for her, 174.85. So just a bit more than 5 points separate the 2 divers who are on top of the rankings. And while we see Nice Gillet, who was in 9th place, now doing a reverse 2.5 somersault tuck. Needs at least 55 points here if she wants to have a chance to get back in the battle for a medal. Oh no, another missed hurdle. Completely over the end, she stopped and completely missed the hurdle. It has happened, especially in the women's events, quite too often now. And she has at least a chance to retake the dive, restart the dive, but she will get a penalty of 2 points from each judge. Good dive, nothing to say about that. Probably just a bit off rhythm coming down from the hurdle on the press, but other than that, she jumps quite high and lines up correctly. A bit heavy on the water, splashes a little bit too much, but the main problem with this dive is that she had to retake the hurdle. So -2 points from each judge, 40.60, and well, I guess it's gonna be very hard for her to get a medal at this point. Dajarne Bent Ajmail at 180 points. She's our leader after 3 rounds of dive. Emilia Nilsson Garip in second, 5.15 points behind. Elle Tuxen in third. Not bad at all for the Norwegian diver, who did an amazing forward 2.5 somersault full twist in this 3rd round. And the others that follow. On the board now we have Elna Widerström from Sweden, Malmö, Sweden. Forward 3.5 somersault for the Swedish diver. Big mistake on the previous round for her as well. like many others we have seen, she got only 18 points in the previous round. Good hurdle on this forward 3.5 Summers Pike. Heavy, very heavy entry though. Does not line up correctly on the board. She did get a very good good hurdle, completely straight vertical here, landing on the tip of the board, and then a little bit too in a rush of leaving the board when the board was still quite low, and that's why the dive is short. 5.5 from the judges, and Elna is at 175.50. Matilde Borrello now, the Italian diver, was sitting in 4th place, not far behind Elle Tuxen, just 8 points. I'm looking at the average scores for the divers that are not leading, so from Elle down, and I gotta say that Matilde needs at least 50 points here, and that's not gonna happen. Unfortunately for her, she ends up going quite too far away from the board and over. She shouldn't have bent her knees here in the air. She picked up too much speed and over rotates. And yeah, as I said, not 50, 55 points, but 40.50. 187.65, not too good for the Italian diver. Now we have Elle Tuxen, reverse somersault pike for her. Very important dive for Elle at this point after the mistake by the Italian diver. First of all, she has to think about the hurdle. A good job on the hurdle, way too fast backwards with her shoulders on the takeoff. She should have kept let the dive go higher. Here, she pulls with the shoulders back. Also, she's not pointing her toes and feet in the air. Well, not a good dive by her. Even less points than the Italian diver, just 36 points. And they are, again, very close one from the other. Actually, with a mistake, Matilde Borrello managed to get closer to Elle Tuxen, just 4 points now, less than 4 points behind them, behind Elle. And now Jana Rother from Germany with 50 points, 51 points. She could get ahead of the Norwegian diver and the Italian diver. And well, should be around that. This dive wasn't perfect, probably too low on the jump, should have been higher, but she holds on to the pike position long enough, and if it's not around 50 points, it's right below that. Yes, 48, 187.50, and now Jana Rother is right behind Matilde Borrello in the battle for a medal with the Italian and the Norwegian diver. Well, now many divers have a chance to get back on track for a medal. Definitely Lauren Alaselka, Claire Cryan, even Caroline Kupka now on the board with a forward 2.5 somersault full twist. A bit too heavy and not very clean entry, probably not gonna get all the way up there with the others, but definitely she's gonna be close to the 187, 190 mark where the others are. And she indeed gets closer, 181, 45 points. With just this dive, she got 9 points closer to her teammate. Also, the battle for bronze medal is open to many divers, at least 5 as of right now. Amy Rollinson, forward 2.5 somersault pike full twist for her as well. Well executed in the first part of the dive, over rotates the bottom, and just seems like she's just not focused on the second part of the dives today. Too bad, because she has great technique on the board, also in the air. See how she over rotated, let her heels and feet go past the vertical ideal line. Now on the board, Claire Cryan forward 2.5 somersault full twist for Claire. She needs 51 points, 52 points to get ahead of everyone. She can do that. She needs sixes pretty much from the judges to do that. Let's see how she does. On the corner during the hurdle, but does not bother her. Completely to the right side of the board. We will see it on the slow motion here. Completely the right corner. Still jumps as high as possible. A good twist. And now we have Claire Tryon in front of everyone else. And big smile for her before the last dive. 6.5 from the judges, 57 points, 196. She has almost 5 points advantage in front of Elle Tuxen, who's in second. Another diver that could jump ahead of everyone else is Lauren Alaselka right now, forward 3.5 somersault pike. Oh, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. She struggled in the air to pick up any speed and ends up being way too short when entering the water. See, completely still in a pike position and not a high score for her. 34.10, 178 points. Already behind the Jarne Benanzlem, even with a dive more than the British diver. Oh well, too bad. Lauren could have had her shot and just didn't work out for her. Forward 3.5 somersault pike for your Italian diver Elettra Neroni. And she stepped back on the hurdle here. Didn't get the best out of the board on the takeoff. The dive ends up being not straight at all in the M3 and also quite short. Yeah, not a good dive by the Italian. Fours from the judges, 4.5s. 154.30 for her after 4 rounds. The Jarne now on the board, our leader. Forward 2.5 somersault full twist for the British diver. She has had a perfect 60 points average so far in this event, taking quite a long time to focus. Good job by the Jarne. Very well executed dive, especially in the air, because look how far in the corner. Oh, she's completely in between the two boards. That's how far to the left she was leaning in the corner and also leaning, tilted on the side. Very good job. Another dive around 60 points. Yeah, 58.50. Not bad at all. 6.5 average from the judges. And the Jarne is at 238.50 points. Let's see how Emilia responds to that. Emilia needs 64 points now to get as high as the Jarne got with her score. Oh, wow. And this happens in the inward dives. Emilia hits the springboard with her heels. Let's first of all check that she's doing okay. Seems like she's getting out of the pool by herself. Failed the dive, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, she seems okay there in the corner of the pool. Needs help to get out. Lifeguard and the other coaches helping there. Probably got hurt on the heels. Let's take a few seconds here to make sure everything is okay with her. Yeah, we have a lifeguard there. Can see there, we can see her coaches, Swedish coaches, right next to her, just standing next to her. uh, lifeguards already, lifeguards and the medical staff putting eyes on her heels right away. So family and friends of Emilia, don't worry, she's fine. You cannot see her on screen, but she's she just hit with her heels. Nothing too dangerous, definitely a hit on the board, but it's just a matter of feet and heel. She's laying on deck and doing fine for what, at least, I mean, yeah, she did hit her heel, but she'll be fine. And we gotta wait a couple of minutes here to make sure everything is okay with her. And they'll soon take her away from deck. She will for sure not finish the final. Unfortunately for her, she was doing very good. This dive, what happened is that she just was leaning too far forward with her shoulders when taking off. That made the dive be too close. I can only tell you that I can barely see what's going on deck, but I can see the doctor placing ice on her feet. There's many people around her, paramedics and the doctor, the referee, the European Aquatics officials. So hopefully she does not have any broken bone in her heel, and she'll be just fine. They're taking her away, not letting her walk, just simply so that if something, they just put her on a wheelchair. She's fine, but not walking, obviously, because if there's any broken bone in her feet or heels, it's better not to step on it. But I'm sure she's a strong lady. I'm sure she'll end up being fine. Yeah, and she is being taken away right now. Very disappointed, obviously. Everyone clapping for her. Good luck, Emilia. Sure hope she'll be just fine, and with some ice and some rest, she'll be back on the boards soon. Too bad. We now, obviously, she's not gonna be back on the board for the last dive, and also she failed this one. So now we have the last dive soon being performed by Anaïs Gillet, the last dive of this fourth round. Again, good luck to Emilia after this hit off the board. Unfortunately, in diving, this happens. Not often, but definitely is part of the sport. And, well, again, good luck to her, and hopefully it's nothing too serious. Anaïs Gillet now. Let's keep going with the final last dive of the fourth round. Anaïs was in 9th place. Quite too many mistakes for her in this competition. Forward 3.5 somersault tuck, and another mistake by the French diver, just like she did this morning. Just grabs her hands way too quick, way too early before her body is vertical. Should probably work more on the way she comes out from this tuck position. And well, we're done with round number 4, and as of right now, it seems pretty easy to see who has the best chances of winning this gold medal. 238 points, .54. Dajarne Bent Ajmail from Great Britain, followed by Claire Cryan, and quite a battle there for medals. Claire, Helle, Mathilde, Jana Rother from Germany, also Caroline Kupka, all have a chance. They're within 15 points. And maybe even Lauren at 100. Lauren Alaselka in 7th place at 178. Considering what we have seen so far in this event, all the mistakes, well, anything can happen in this last round that we are just about to start with. Elna Widerström forward 2.5 somersault, full twist for her. Elna was 21 points behind Claire Cryan, who's in 2nd, and just 15 behind Elle Tuxen. Oh wow, this is a very good dive. This is gonna probably score around 60 points because this takeoff was very good. Probably not completely straight. Probably not completely straight in the twist. That caused the dive to score just 6.5 and not more than that. Other than that, was very good job. 232.50 for the Swedish diver, who now set the bar for whoever wants to get a medal. A low bar, because for divers like Claire Cryan and Matilde Borello, who's now on the board, not too difficult to get there. 45 points for Matilde to get ahead of Elna Widerström. And you will see on screen before each diver's dive the score they need to get ahead of Dejarne Bent Asmail, because she's already in 1st, even with a dive less than Elna. Good dive by Matilde Borello, just very strong off the board, but her shoulders way too far forward on takeoff. That creates too much distance in the entry, and also she drops her head before getting in the water, over rotating. Once again, she does not grab her hands, makes the dive not clean in the entry. 40.50, and she closes at 228.15. And Elna, with her last dive, passes ahead of Matilde Borello. Elle Tuxen now, back 2.5 somersault tuck. Good for her, she doesn't have to deal with the hurdle on this last dive. But it is a backwards somersaulting dive, so yeah, not struggling with the hurdle, not having to deal with that, but definitely having to understand perfectly where you are in the air to get a perfect rip entry. And she does a good job with this dive, not bad at all, probably not very strong off the board. She does not end up being very high up in the air, but vertical in the entry, and good scores from the judges here. Could have reached better back with their hands in the entry. 243.20, and Elle Tuxen is in 1st place at the moment. 55 points, 55.70 points for Jana Rother if she wants to get ahead of Elle Tuxen. Forward 3.5 somersault pike. She needs at least 6s in this dive. And that is not going to happen, unfortunately, for the German diver. This dive ends up being quite short. And once again, the German diver, and it's time to come out, and so ends up being still in a pike position and short in the entry. 235.55. And she's behind Elle. Caroline Kupka, forward 2.5 somersault pike. And 62.20 points to get ahead of her teammate. Very hard with this dive. She needs 9s. And even though it's a very good dive, probably too far away from the board. Very, very high, but also quite far away from the board. And a very good clean entry for the Norwegian diver, who closes at 229 points total. Amy Rollinson ready on the board for her 5th and last dive, a backward 2.5 somersault pike for her. 81 points needed for her. That means 9.5s, 9s and 9.5s for her if she wants to get ahead of Elle Tuxen. She was way too far behind in the rankings to get a medal probably here today. Does a very good job with that. I mean, very nice position, pike position in the air. Probably not the best come out she could do. She should have stayed straighter getting in the water. She lets her feet pass a little bit. Definitely her best dive of the day. 60 points, 221.30, and Amy Rollison is in 7th place already. Claire Clarion now. Here is important dive of the competition. 47.20 points needed in this inward 2.5 somersault tuck. 2.7 degree of difficulty. So 47.20 means she needs 6 and 6.5, at least 6s here to get ahead of Ellie Tuxen and claim a medal in this 3 meters women's final. See what she does. Nice dive. Let's see what the judges think, because this dive is slightly over-rotated. Not very strong off the board. She's not as high as other inward 2.5s we've seen before. Safe distance from the board. Definitely close to what she needed, but I don't know if this is enough. Not very high jump and not enough. 240.55. 3 points behind Ellie Tuxen, now in 2nd place, Claire Cryan. Well, Lauren Alaselka now, forward 2.5 somersault, full twist, 65.10 points needed for the Finnish diver. That means 7.5 for her if she wants to get ahead of Ellie Tuxen. 7s if she wants a medal. And another dive that over-rotates, not gonna get those scores here in this dive, Ellen. Unfortunately, even though she missed here and there a little bit, she still had a chance to get a medal here today. Not gonna happen, way over-rotated. Big disappointed face for the Finnish diver, 5.5, and she closes at 2:24.60. Elettra Neroni now. No chances for her to get ahead of Ellie Tuxen and Claire Cryan for a spot on the podium. Mainly due because of a failed dive earlier in the competition. Inward 2.5 somersault tuck for not a great job in this easy inward 2.5 somersault tuck for the Italian diver. Drops her head in the takeoff and on the come out as well. Goes way too far over, 4.5, closes at 193.45. Dijourne Ben Ashmail needs 4.75 points to win today here in Belgrade. With once she can get that. All she needs to do is to complete her dive. And here you have the new European champion on the women 3-meter springboard, Dajarne Bent Ashmail, with an amazing forward 3.5 somersault pike, is gonna claim her gold medal, the 3rd one of this European Championship. Good job, Dajarne, an amazing competition, 305.15 points for her. 3 gold medals out of 3 events for Dajarne. What a good competition. Well done, well done. Last dive of this final, obviously we do not have our 11th diver in the starting list. Emilia Nilsson Garib just had to scratch due to the previous dive where she hit the board. And now we have Nice Gillet, forward 2.5 somersault, full twist for the French diver, who did not repeat herself after this morning preliminary round where she won. She's finishing with a good dive overall. Not the best pike position in that somersault. Also, she loses her hands before entering the water. and she closes in 10th place at 219.65. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a roller coaster of an event this afternoon. Disappointed. Nice Gillet takes the hugs from her coaches. And here we have Darjarne Bent Ajmail, European champion. 3 times European champion here, 62 points ahead of second place Elle Tuxen, and third place for Irish diver Claire Cryan. You have the final standings on screen. Wow, what an event. And my thoughts go to Emilian Nilsson Garip. I'm definitely gonna go check out with the Swedish team and let you know later during the medal ceremonies how things are going there. Well, again, congratulations to Darjarne, Helle and Claire, who will be on deck for the medal ceremony very, very soon. See you in a bit.
Well done. 3 gold medals. 3 gold medals. Fantastic.
Awesome equal. Awesome, awesome. Equal, 6 equal.
Emilia Nilsson Garrett.
Equal, 6.
Jana half, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5, 5.5.
Check. 7.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Medal ceremony.
Men's 10-meter synchronized platform.
Muški sinkronizovani skokovi sa 10 metara platforma.
Here we are for the medal ceremonies of the two finals we had this afternoon here in Belgrade. And while we see the guys from the men's synchronized 10-meter platform final get on deck for their medal ceremony, a quick springboard medal ceremony.
The medals will be presented. By the President of the Serbian
Here are the three
Swimming
ladies who got in the top 3 spots in this event. On deck presenting the medals is Suzana Zukic, President of Serbian Swimming Federation,
Technical Diving Committee Vice Chair.
with Arne Tellefsen, Technical Diving Committee Vice Chair.
Arne Tellefsen. Bronze medalist representing Ireland.
A quite interesting event in this final roller coaster, as I defined it at the end. Third place goes to Claire Cryan from Ireland, definitely taking advantage of some mistakes here and there throughout the competition, and she did better than the others, getting the third place. That was quite a battle for medals between her, Jana Rother, Elne Widerström, and the second place, Helle Tuxen, the Norwegian diver who scored 243.20, her first medal at European Championship. Good job, Helle.
Gold medalist.
Now,
and European champion. Representing
with a total score of 305.15. Third gold medal at this European Championship for her from Great Britain, Desjardins Ben Ajmail. Congratulations, well done, amazing job today. Amazing job. 3 events and 3 gold medals for the British diver here in Belgrade. A really strong competition for her.
If you are able, please be
And here is the national anthem of Great Britain.
Molim vas, ustanite za nacionalnu himnu Velike Britanije.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it for today from the Institute of Sports and Sports Medicine of Belgrade. And while the ladies are taking pictures, I, as always, give you the schedule for tomorrow, June 22nd, 10 o'clock we'll have the men's 3-meter springboard preliminary, and then in the afternoon at 3:30 the women's synchronized 10-meter platform final, followed up at 4:40 the men's 3-meter springboard final. I am Michele Benedetti. I hope you enjoyed the day here with me, the day of diving here with me in Belgrade. Have a great night, and I'll be back here tomorrow. Bye bye.